This is a wonderful painting by Irene Parmlee of Fredrick Gillett. Fredrick Gillett was born in Westfield in 1851. He went to Amherst College and then on to Harvard Law School. After completing Harvard Law School, he came back to Westfield, set up his practice here, then quickly entered politics. He was in a variety of state offices, and then in the 1890s, ran for Congress, became a U.S. congressman, and became very, very prominent and very active in the House of Representatives. And in 1919, just a year after World War I, he became Speaker of the House, the highest position in the House of Representatives. He stayed in that position until 1925. In 1925, he then ran for the Senate from Massachusetts and became a senator and served as a senator from 1925 to 1931. He died in 1935. So he is one of the most distinguished Westfield residents, very, very active on both the state and the national stage. Irene Parmlee, the artist who painted this painting, was a very, very interesting artist at a time when there weren't a lot of women artists active. She grew up in Connecticut, studied at Yale. Then in 1875, she set up a studio in Springfield, and she maintained that studio until 1929, except for a 3-year period between 1881 and 1884, where she went to study in Paris. At the famous Julian studio. And that's a very important factor. Many artists at that time, the late 19th century, felt that they couldn't receive the training they needed to produce great art. So they felt that they had to go to Europe. A variety of artists at that time did this. Thomas Eakins, John Singer Sargent. In fact, John Singer Sargent actually was born in Europe and grew up in Europe. He didn't visit America until he was in his 20s. So many American artists studied in Europe or lived in Europe for long periods of time. And so Irene Parmlee went to Paris, studied there, and her work is very much influenced by the Impressionists, who were, of course, doing their work. That was kind of the peak of Impressionism in the 1870s and the 1880s. So she was deeply influenced by that. And you can see that even though this is a fairly traditional portrait, you can see how she uses a very nice kind of Impressionist influenced brushstroke style, say in the beard, the hair, and then the tie. You can see that feature in the tie as well. So it's one of our most interesting portraits, and it captures one of the most important Westfield residents who was so active on the national scene. So we're very happy to include this in our exhibit, Untold Stories, The Treasures of the Athenaeum.